Hi everyone, my name is Dawala Mobalande, and before I start saying what I'm here to say, look at my tribal mark. I'm not from Libya, I'm not a Libyan, I'm Nigerian, I'm from Nigeria, I'm Nigerian, So before you start saying I'm defending my country, I'm defending where I'm from or wherever like that, I'm from Nigeria, but I live and work in Libya. I'm in Libya right now. So what I'm trying to say is that Africans, should be thankful. The rest of the African countries should be thankful to Libya and the Libyans. Reason being that if you guys see what happened, if you should have seen it on the internet or probably if you are in Tunisia or Algeria, Libya or other African countries, So it happened that in July, I really don't know what happened, but according to what I read, according to the write-up on Google, so it happened that the foreigners and the indigenes had issues, you understand? So they had to push the foreigners out of the country, send them out of the country without food and water, send them to the desert. Now, if you have never been to the desert before, I understand if you don't know the weight of what they did, if you don't know the implications of what they did, or you don't know how it feels to be in the desert, or what the desert. Don't even try to compare what you see online, like the kind of desert you see online, if you've never been to the desert, But if you have been to the desert, that is when you'll be able to relate with what I'm trying to say. So they sent them out of the country without water, without food, no sensible measures. They were sent out of Tunisia. They were sent into the desert because they had issues with their own people. Now, I understand that some Africans can be frustrating. I'm also Nigerian, I'm African, African, 100%. So I understand that our people can be frustrating at times. They can go out of bounds. They can do whatever they want to do. They can even make you go crazy. But sending them to the desert, is so absurd. It's something that should never been done. It's something that is not even supposed to happen at all. You sent them to the desert without no provision. So they were in the desert. Now, when I'm saying in the desert, I'm talking about the border. The Tunisia border. So when I'm talking about the border, if I don't know how good your geography is, but when you're talking about Tunisia border, you already know that they share border with Libya. So when I'm saying they share border with Libya, it's not just Libya. They share border with Libya, Algeria, and Egypt. So it's like this. I don't know how to describe. So this is Egypt. When you are coming from Tunisia, this is Egypt, this is Libya, then this is Algeria. So they sent them to the desert, and many of them died. Now, when I say they sent them to the desert, I'm not just talking about the men. I'm talking about the men, the women, and the children. Without water, without food, they were sent to the desert to die. So you can't tell me that the Egyptians didn't know that they were Africans in the desert. Now, when I say Africans in the desert, I'm not just talking about the Nigerians. Of course, there were Nigerians there, but trust me, Africans, people from Kenya, people from Uganda, people from Nigeria, people from Mali, people from Sudan, these are our brothers and sisters, and they died because they were sent out of Tunisia into the desert to die without food and without water. Now, this is why I said the rest of the African countries should be thankful to Libya. Now, when all these things were happening and people were dying, they were crying for help, we saw so many videos, people crying for help. Some people were dying, they just needed food, they needed water, They wanted to leave the desert, but they could not leave. How were they supposed to leave, So it was the Libyan authorities, that went to the desert to evacuate those people that were still alive and brought them to Libya. They brought them into Libya and look after them. They went into the desert. They brought them into their own country to take care of them, look after them. Now, when I'm saying that they should be thankful to Libya, I'm not saying that Libya is a good country, you know. Because you people be like, are you not saying Libya is a good country? Though I can say Libya is a good country if you would ask me. But Libya is not a perfect country. That's what I'm trying to say. Just as Nigeria is not a perfect country. If Nigeria was perfect, then what am I doing here? We have so many Nigerian brothers and sisters in this country, hustling and bustling every day just to make ends meet. You know, to be able to pay bills, send something back home, take care of their family, you know. We have so many Africans in Libya right now. So when I'm saying that they went there, helped them, you know, look after them, give them medication, give them food, clothing, and everything that they needed. And the reason why some of them were still alive was because the Libyans went there to save them. When other African countries that could have gone there to rescue them were just looking, watching their videos online, their help videos online, and they did nothing about it. So before you start, people will start saying, that Libya, no, I know how this country has been painted, you know. I know so many things has been said about this country, but you need to hear from me that every country has its own up and down. Every country has its own up and down. Libya has its own up and down too. They're not perfect. Now, before you say that, what I used to say to my fellow Nigerians is that if you go to a particular country uninvited, you don't have the required documents, you don't have everything that it takes to be in that country, and somehow you find yourself in that country, whatever that you see in that country is, you know, I'm not saying it's right, but you need to, you need to be, I don't even know what to say, but I know you get what I'm trying to say. Whatever that happens in that country is your problem. You should be able to embrace it, because if you are going to a country where you are not invited, they don't even have any documents that says that you enter this country or you are here. You are illegal. So now tell me, can you go to the US? Can you go to the UK without the required document? Or can you sneak into the UK without the required document? Now that's the first thing. Now the second thing is, let's say you find yourself in the UK without any document. Can you go and walk without the required document and you will not be handed to the authorities and probably go to jail or they throw you back home? It's not possible, but somehow we find ourselves here and then we are still working in their homes. And, you know, it's pretty easy for them to hand us over to the police or something like that. Okay, we found somebody from Nigeria, no documents and everything, because you're illegal. And somehow you still find yourself in their homes, working, getting paid. So before you say Libya is bad, there are so many other things that you need to consider. I know there are so many illegal Africans in Nigeria too. You know, we are very, very accommodating. That's just one thing about us. We embrace, we accommodate a lot of people. We are so welcoming when it comes to welcoming people. In fact, grade 1. So before you start saying bad things about Libya, just know that when Africans needed help, Libya rise to help them. When other Africans needed help, it was Libya that was there to say, okay, let's take them in, let's clothe them, let's give them food, let's give them medication, let's take them to the hospital, let's look after them, let's care for them like our own, you know. So there's so many things that you need to consider when you're talking about Libya. It's not just a war-torn-apart country, you know. It's not a war country. It's not a terrorist nation. It's so many good things that people are not talking about. And when you want to visit African countries, I'm not even talking about only Libya right now. You want to go to Nigeria, you want to go to Mali, you want to go to Morocco, please do not go on Google, because the first thing that comes out, you know, is that they say it's a terrorist country, or they tell you it's a really bad country or whatever. So please, people, the rest of you should be thankful to Libya and the Libyans. That's all I have to say. Thank you.